Let's skip the soft open. Here's the real question. Have you ever achieved something? Actually gotten the grade, the body, the acceptance letter, and felt absolutely nothing? Not happy, not sad, just flat. If yes, this episode's for you. If no, you're either lying or you haven't wanted anything badly enough yet. We're talking about purposelessness, not depression. That's a different clinical thing. And if that's what you're dealing with, go talk to an actual professional. I mean that. What I'm talking about is the very specific, very common condition of being functional, even successful, and still feeling like you're driving with no destination punched into the GPS. This isn't just vibes, there's actual research on this. Psychologist Michael Steger, who spent his career studying meaning in life, found that people split into two groups: those with presence of meaning and those actively searching for it. And the searching group reports significantly lower well being even when their lives look objectively fine on paper. Translation: you can have the apartment, the grades, the followers, and still be in psychological distress because none of it is pointed anywhere. Viktor Frankl said it best decades ago in a concentration camp, of all places, that man can endure almost anything if he has a why. Without it, comfort itself becomes unbearable. That's the part most people miss. Purposelessness doesn't feel dramatic, it feels like boredom with good lighting. Now, here's the trap, specifically for people like us: ambitious, young, just landed somewhere new, surrounded by people who all seem to have a 5 year plan memorized. We default to what I'd call borrowed purpose, family expectation, a career track that sounds impressive at dinner parties, a version of success you never actually chose. You just absorbed it, the way you absorb an accent. Borrowed purpose is fuel, but it's bad fuel. It runs your engine on shame and comparison instead of actual combustion. And bad fuel runs out, usually at the worst time, like 11 p.m. on a Tuesday when nothing's scheduled and the silence finally catches up to you. Now, here's why your brain hates this. There's a reason this feels so specifically awful and not just kind of annoying. Humans are wired for what researchers call approach motivation. We're built to move towards something, not just away from discomfort. When there's no toward, your brain doesn't go neutral. It goes hunting for a problem to solve. And if you don't give it a real one, it'll invent one. That's why purposelessness gets people weirdly dramatic about small things. Your brain's not malfunctioning, it's starving. Starving for a direction and eating whatever is closest. Now, here's the fix that you're sold, but is probably wrong. Get a planner, wake up at 5 a.m., cold shower, then grind. None of that touches the actual problem because it treats purposelessness like a discipline issue. It's not a discipline issue. Discipline without direction is just motion. You can be extremely disciplined and still be completely lost. In fact, that's often more dangerous because the busyness disguises the emptiness from you and everyone else, if you really go to think of it. Now, here's what I believe actually works. So, what's the actual fix? Not a vision board, not a 2 a.m. Pinterest spiral. Here's what the research and frankly, what every serious operator I've read, Goggins, the Musk biography, doesn't matter who, actually points to. Purpose isn't discovered in a flash, it's constructed through feedback. over time from action. This is a concept from organizational psychology called job crafting. People who feel stuck in meaningless work don't usually quit. They redesign the role around what actually engages them in small increments and report dramatically higher meaning afterward. Same principle applies to your life broadly. You don't sit and meditate your way to purpose, you test. Practically, stop asking the huge unanswerable question: what's my purpose? Replace it with a smaller, weekly, almost boring question: what did I do this week that I do again for free, unwitnessed, with zero recognition attached? Not track it, not your goals, your actual emotional data. The 2 hours that vanished without you noticing, the argument you didn't want to end, the problem you kept chewing on after you were done for the day. That's pattern recognition, not destiny. But pattern recognition, repeated over months, becomes direction. Direction, repeated over years, becomes purpose. There's no shortcut version of this. Anyone selling you one is selling you a borrowed purpose in different packaging. Now, here's the uncomfortable part that will sting more than a little. Feeling purposeless at your stage is not a malfunction, it's expected. You've outgrown whatever goal you set when you were 15. Get into a good uni, get the body, get the girl, and you haven't replaced it with the next one yet. That gap between an expired goal and new one is genuinely uncomfortable, and most people panic fill it with noise. New relationships, new gym splits, new hustle ideas, doom scrolling at 1 a.m. Anything to avoid sitting in the gap long enough to actually look around it. The discomfort isn't the enemy, it's data. It's literally your psychology telling you. And this old direction has required send a software update to me, please. So if you're sitting there mid success and mid empty at the same time, stop trying to force a 5 year plan by Friday. I'm being serious. That's borrowed purpose thinking again, just dressed up as ambition. Instead, pay attention. This week, what pulled you in versus what you just endured? Write it down. Boring and glamorous, and it's the only method that's actually backed by how meaning gets built, not faked. Purposelessness isn't proof you're broken, it's proof you're between versions of yourself. Everyone serious goes through that gap. The only mistake is refusing to sit in it long enough to see what's actually on the other side. That's the episode. Go do something today you'll do again for free. See you next time.